Shiny Pokemon. If you know even the slightest bit at all about Pokemon, you probably know what I am talking about. They are those Pokemon with slightly different colors that are super rare and cool. In the Pokemon TCG, we have gotten a whole bunch of different shiny cards over the years. Some go by special names, while others are just normal cards with shiny Pokemon on them. But there is one that has standed out above the rest as being by far the rarest and most definitely the most iconic of them all. What I am talking about are Gold Star cards. And in today's video, I will be explaining why I believe that there is a chance we may see these iconic cards return to the Pokemon TCG during the Scarlet and Violet era. But before we do that, let's take a look back at the history of shiny cards in the Pokemon TCG. The first shiny cards ever released went by the name of Shining cards, with the first iterations being Shining Magikarp and Gyarados from the set Neo Revelation, released on September 21st, 2001. In the very next set, Neo Destiny, which was released on February 28th, 2002, we once again got to see these Shining Pokemon with 8 different cards released in the set. But Neo Destiny would mark the end for these Shining cards, and we would soon get to see the beginning of a new kind of shiny Pokemon card during the EX Ruby and Sapphire era of the Pokemon TCG. In the set EX Team Rocket Returns, released on November 1st, 2004, and the 7th set of the EX Ruby and Sapphire era, we would see the introduction of Gold Star cards, with Gold Star Mudkip, Torchic, and Trico. Throughout the EX Ruby and Sapphire era, there would be a total of 25 different Gold Star cards across 9 different sets. As previously mentioned, the first was EX Team Rocket Returns, which had Gold Star Mudkip, Torchic, and Trico. Then you had EX Deoxys, which had Gold Star Latios, Latias, and Rayquaza. EX Unseen Forces had Gold Star Entei, Raikou, and Suicune. EX Delta Species had Gold Star Groudon, Kyogre, and Metagross. EX Legend Maker had Gold Star Regice, Regirock, and Registeel. EX Holland Phantoms had Gold Star Gyarados, Mewtwo, and Pikachu. EX Crystal Guardians had Gold Star Alakazam and Celebi. EX Dragon Frontiers had Gold Star Charizard and Mew. And the final set of the EX Ruby and Sapphire era, EX Power Keepers had Gold Star Flareon, Jolteon, and Vaporeon. The end of the EX Ruby and Sapphire era would mark the end for the Gold Star cards, and afterwards, shiny Pokemon cards would not go by any special name or variation. For instance, in the Diamond and Pearl sets, Call of Legends, and Black and White sets, the only shiny Pokemon cards were typically Secret Rare Holo or Reverse Holos, while in the X and Y sets, shiny cards were sporadically thrown into random sets, such as the Gyarados EX, Mega Gyarados EX, Full Art Gyarados EX, Full Art Mega Gyarados EX, and Full Art Gyarados EX alternate art of Breakpoint, the Mega Gardevoir EX of Generations, and a handful of dual-type cards, as well as the Mega Steelix EX and Mega Gardevoir EX from Steam Siege. Then, for the 4th set of the Sun and Moon era, we would see the release of Shining Legends. Released on October 6, 2017, this set would be only the 3rd ever set to contain Shining cards, with the only other 2 to be the final 2 sets of the Neo era, as previously mentioned. Besides Shining Legends, the rest of the Shiny cards released during the Sun and Moon era did not go by any special name, with the most notable instance of Shiny cards from this era being the Shiny Vault subset from Hidden Fates. Then during the Sword and Shield era, we got a mix of all kinds of different stuff. You have the normal shiny V cards, such as the Secret Rare Charizard V from Champion's Path. You have Shining Fates with the Shiny Vault subset just like Hidden Fates. You have the Secret Rare Gold cards with shiny Pokemon on them, and then the Radiant cards released during the second half of the Sword and Shield era. And currently, we are in a transitional phase from the end of the Sword and Shield era to the start of the Scarlet and Violet era of the Pokemon TCG. To say I am excited is an understatement, and I believe that there is a chance we may see Gold Star cards return during this era, and I do have some reason to say this. As previously mentioned, during the Sword and Shield era, the shiny cards were absolutely all over the place. There were so many different variations, it was difficult to keep track of them all, and it became almost watered down. Plus, Pokemon now have a new kind of chase card in the alternate art cards that have been more desirable and more expensive than the shiny cards. So as a result of this, I think they're going to try to go back to having the shiny cards be extremely rare once again. One way in which I could see them doing this is by bringing back Gold Star cards. Back during the Ruby and Sapphire era, the odds of pulling one of these cards is estimated to be 1 in every 3 booster boxes, so there is no doubt that they were rare, but they were also only available during the Ruby and Sapphire era, which I will point out contained lowercase EX cards. And what is one thing the Pokemon Company has brought back for this Scarlet and Violet era? Lowercase EX cards. Now, I will admit that this is in fact a very subtle connection, but I think that there is a chance we could see something like this happening. After all, we did just see the reprint of Gold Star Umbreon and the release of Gold Star Greninja in Celebrations, the 25th anniversary set. So it is not like the Pokemon Company has forgotten about Gold Star cards. If I had to guess, I think there are 2 ways in which we may potentially see Gold Star cards make a return. One is by having them be these super rare chase cards throughout the entirety of the Scarlet and Violet era. Or we see one set based around them, similar to how Shining Legends was to the Shining cards of the Neo era. Regardless of whether or not we see Gold Star cards make a return, they will always be some of my favorite cards ever printed and be some of the most iconic Pokemon cards of all time. And that is all for the video today. Let me know in the comment section down below your thoughts on whether or not we will see Gold Star cards make a return to the Pokemon TCG. Thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and this is the Pokeplaya signing out.